Hey everybody, Roxabox90 here with some Khans of Tarkir speculation and analysis as well, because we're going to go through and discuss the Planeswalker's Guide to Khans of Tarkir Part 1, and we'll make for Part 2 when it comes out. We've done this before for many sets. This one is a bit interesting as well as the Ravnica one was, because of the fact, and the Theros I guess, because of the fact that in the Ravnica one it's going back to guilds, which is really interesting, delving into the guilds again, seeing what's going on. And the Theros one because of flavor and a brand new world that we don't know about. Khans the same way. It's interesting when we go through the guide. It's pretty big, and this is just part 1. So I'd recommend you guys read through on your own. We're going to be seeing here the Abzan, Jeskai, and Sultai, 3 of the 5 clans. They probably, in the next guy is my guess, they'll probably spoil the Khan for the Timur, would be my bet, given that they don't include it here, and he's the one we're missing. That would be my thought. If you go through the article, you can read the whole thing yourself, but I'm just going to point out some notes that I noticed as I was reading. The first was that the dragons were dealt with a long time ago, that for many years clans fought dragons just to survive, and then at a crucial turning point more than 1,000 years ago, the dragon tempests stopped coming and no new dragons were spawned. Their numbers thinned, eventually they died out, and that's how it happened. What's interesting here is the vagueness of the sentence. More than 1,000 years ago, we know from, for those of you who haven't seen it, you can go check out the Khans of Tarkir World Builder panel. I'll put all the links down below in the description. You guys can go check it out. They talk about the fact that Nicol killed Ugin about 1,000 years before. Ugin is the colorless Planeswalker dragon, and it appears is somehow connected to the hearts of dragons in the plane or something like that, because of the fact that when he died, or around the time he died, that's when the dragons stopped spawning. Is he the spirit of dragons, and so when he dies, the dragons just can't go on? It's not exactly clear for this plane how important Ugin was, but apparently his death is pretty coincidental in the dragons dying out, so I'm pretty sure they're related, and we'll see in Fate Reforged probably when Sarkhan tries to regain contact with Ugin what's in the past. We're going to see what happens with that, I believe. So here I just thought it was interesting to notice that Ugin's death coincides with the dragon's end. That's pretty cool. Then they go through the different clans and how they're all taking on the aspects of dragons, which is fine and all, and they go through stuff. So some interesting things here they talk about. Most notably, I find that the Abzan are actually pretty horrible people. I mean, for me, I was kind of hoping they were the civilized kinds, but they seem to be pretty awful. They embody a lot of the negative aspects of human civilization, which is, those who aren't part of the norm are ostracized, and you have lots of those orphans, disowned, all these people who are pushed out of the norm and are effectively second-class citizens in this realm, which maybe you need to be in such a war-torn struggle, but it seems pretty uncivilized for the supposedly civilized clan, or the most civilized clan. What's also interesting to note when you go through is actually that they have here important clan locations, and they have a whole bunch of them for each clan. First Tree, Ember Throne, Merrick Fortress, City of Arashin. What's interesting here is that I'm not quite sure how this is going to work out. For those who remember from Kamigawa, we had legendary lands that reflected key center point pieces of Kamigawa, and they were legendary lands that had different utilities. Now what's interesting is Wizards has said with the 5 pain enemy lands, the wonder is where's the 5 allied pain lands? Well, we might not even get those, because Wizards was implying there's going to be some sort of new dual land introduced in the set. They really need a lot of fixing, and in fact the World Builder panel touches on this a little during the Q&A, how important it's going to be to have good mana fixing. So we know that we have the tri-lands. We know that we have the fetches. We know that we have the enemy pain lands in standard. And Wizards rarely likes to leave things half done. So the question is, will they bring back the 5 other pain lands in the block? Because I remember hearing about the fact that they don't like leaving things hanging like this, but he also said they want to introduce some sort of new dual land, something that's not just a copy of something that's in the old past. So it'd be interesting to see what they're going to do to balance out the pain lands, whether it's new allied lands that work in fixing, but either way I could see them making 3 different kinds: an uncommon tri-land, rare fetch land, and then hopefully, well, probably some kind of rare dual land, or even a common dual, depending on what they need. And it'll be interesting to see if they reflect more legendary style and have these kind of flavor names, or if they're Sandstep Gateway or something generic that's not going to particularly stand out. Also, I'll mention from the World Builder panel, it's about an hour, you guys can watch it yourselves if you want, but what's interesting there is they talk about Sarkhan finding Ugin's bones, and we actually have a card of this, which I couldn't quite tell what this was originally. I thought it was just some sort of time-traveling dragon. No, it's actually Ugin's bones, and this is how these bones look when you have a dead spirit dragon from 1,000 years ago. Since Sarkhan is connecting with Ugin at this point, it'd be interesting to see just how much of the Ugin Ghostfire reflection will be impacting both this set and Fate Reforged. I don't think as much in the final set, because we'll be connecting back to Dragon Ascendancy, and they've already implied there's going to be dragons back. And so this article brings into question the larger picture of what's going to happen with allied duels once the Shockland rotate. Are they going to be included here or elsewhere? What's going on with Ugin's bones, since they are actually his bones? And how do they connect to the 1,000 years ago deterioration of dragons? And, by the way, the Jeskai are awesome. And the Sultai are awesome. Oh, and last note before we get off here, what's interesting is for the Sultai, which, it's a long article, the Sultai have the Rakshas, which are pretty cool, but they mention here that they control the dead, and yet their workforce is made up of the dead. So we have mining, farming, dredging zombies. So they're doing all of the grunt work. And then it says, oh yeah, and by the way, they also use them to supply their army. Okay, so I guess the warriors like to fight, and then they have a lot of the dead doing the grunt work at home. It just seems kind of funny that the clan that controls the undead, yeah, they use them for war, but a big bulk of their necromancy they use for digging up riverbeds, or dredging seas, or farming the land. Can you imagine a zombie farmer? Well, actually, you probably can. Anyway, I just thought that was really funny. So enjoy the article, and I'll put the links down below for the article. I'll put the links down below for the World Builder panel. I'd love to hear your thoughts about where this could potentially go, and I'm looking forward to part 2, as well as more spoilers as they come out. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, tap the like button. If you're new to the channel, check in and subscribe. As always, Roxabox90 signing out. I'll see you guys next time.